Hi everyone. Today I would like to talk about celebrating organizational heritage. And the context of this is a form of a caution or a question in whether this is a missed opportunity in organizations. For companies that are already doing this and are doing it well done. Maybe this video will just highlight, or you may even gain new insights in terms of what can be added in what you are already doing. But for companies that are not doing Heritage Day at all in their organizations or are not doing it well, view this video as a reflection, as a harsh mirror, and not as a judgment, because I hold no standard over this topic. However, I am sharing from my personal experience and also from my observation in various organizations. I'm not sure which one is worse, whether is not celebrating organizational heritage at all, or whether it's celebrating personal cultures in disguise of embracing organizational heritage, or whether it's celebrating this day in our organizations with no organizational context at all. I wonder if other people are also faced with the same dilemma I have. Government gives us a full day of holiday for us to celebrate our cultural or personal heritage or spiritual or religious, whatever form that we associate with. Government gives us this day that we do it with those people we want to do it with, right? However, you find that in organizations, this is also expected during the organization time, whereby organization pour out resources to celebrate this same personal heritage. And my question is always around, if we are in the organization and we are talking or doing heritage, should it not be enhancing organizational heritage or celebrating that heritage? Before I go on stating why I think this is a missed opportunity in organizations, let me actually ask the following questions, which may lead us into understanding why I am talking about this today. Does your organization celebrate heritage at all? Whether it's cultural, whether we call it DEI, whether we call it belonging, whether we call it, organizational heritage, do you celebrate any form of heritage in your organization? How does that work for you? The second one is, does your current celebration add value to you as an employee? Does it add value to you feeling that you are belonging more now to the organization, or you are embracing diversity more in the fact that now there's more equity and inclusion as the outcome of this celebration? Do you feel heritage promotes or addresses certain tones or is biased towards certain groups to emphasize certain points than it being an organizational activity for everyone? The next question is, does it add value to you, to your teams, the way you work, how you work, your environment? Or does it feel like a one-night stand whereby it's not attached to anything, it's not linked to anything, and there's no continuity after that? Does it seem to you as a tick box that must be done just because it is what is done now, that is what is fashionable today? How does that create unity and inclusion? Am I saying that celebrating heritage in the workplace is bad? No, but what I'm saying is it should be intentional, it should be integrative, it should not stop only on cultural and individual norms. Let me give you an example or a scenario of the heritage days I have observed. There will be these rules around, please wear your cultural outfit. If you are a woman, please have a head dookie on, and already these rules are not bringing unity because some people don't wear headgears. So what are you saying? For that day, I must now go an extra mile and wear a headgear for what? Then the day comes, you find that the same people in leadership that have put this nice newsletter about the heritage, the dress code, they are not abiding to it. And there's no consequence around it, But year in, year out, we'll repeat these activities. And it's the same thing that does not add value. And you don't see involvement of everyone. Even the commitment of executives and leadership is not there because they are invisible. You will never see them there. So it makes you feel like, it's for you people. It's for your kind. You deserve a free meal. We give you t-shirts, you deserve to have, free time at work at least. You can mix up, but not with our kind, not with our group. It's for you, That's the kind you receive in some of these events, of which today it's mainly about the Heritage Day. So who actually make these rules? Who approves these rules? Who is this heritage for? You ask yourself as an employee, So in my case, I would feel like, wow, how can I be so disrespected that my company, that my leaders are telling me to do ABC and they're not even here, let alone following the rules that they have communicated to me. And I have come to work. It's my normal working day. I celebrated, the government given day for myself. Now I'm imposed, or this heritage is imposed on me now. I only come to work. So how do I find all these happenings that I'm supposed to participate in? Because if I don't participate, I don't embrace diversity. I'm not inclusive, I do not belong, So I must force myself to fit in all these happenings in the business, but have nothing to do with the business. So that's the dilemma I'm faced with. Hence, I asked you those 6 questions before. How is your celebrating Heritage Day work for you in your workplace? I've just shared with you a scenario where I was like, wowed in a negative space of heritage. But now I want to share an impactful memory of what heritage should be. So it's not opinion, it's what I felt. It's a real life experience in one time in my career. This has happened over 20 years ago, but I still feel it. I still, when I talk about it, when I think about it, my heart still pumps. So this was the first company I worked for. It was a multinational company. I was very fortunate to have worked in this company that from general manager to a floor staff, everybody knew what human dignity is. Everybody felt their space, felt their job is important. Everybody loved everybody, and everybody loved the organization. So when we're talking about loving in the workplace, we're talking about being able to accept other people positively and unconditionally. You may be saying, you are exaggerating things. It may sound like an exaggeration because this company was not always like that. When I joined this company, we had a general manager who was, I'm going to bring in some areas of race, right? So that you can understand what I'm trying to distinguish here. So the the general manager was a white South African. It was 7 years in democracy, and there was still no change in this organization regarding all the laws that were implemented. So I believe the multinational company thought that by putting a person of color as a general manager should then change things. Wow, did they get it wrong? The situation became worse because we moved firstly from having this preferred group into favoritism of individuals. Then we moved from the fear of, the regime that was, into total chaos of disrespect of leadership. Talking of jumping from the pot to the fire, I do not know which was best for the company or for the employees. I'm not sure if the company was seeing it as a pot and a fire, or the employees were seeing it as a fire and the pot. But definitely chaos did erupt. I say sometimes as leadership, we underestimate how morale of employees and politics can destroy not just the company performance or, losing financially, but there are costly incidents and public image is damaged. Mind you, if you are talking of a multinational, it's not just South Africa, but it's about the whole reputation globally that is hurting. So in those 7 years, this multinational made a bold statement. They brought in a white male to be the general manager of this company, who had no baggage of the past. I actually don't care if he did what he had to do as other people perceived, because his job depended on it. But he made miracles for our culture, for employees. Him and the leadership that was existing then worked hard in transforming the place. And the first thing that this general manager did was to restore human dignity. Whether you are a shop steward, whether you are unionized or you're not unionized, human dignity was restored for everyone. I don't think he was good because he was an American. I don't think he was good because he didn't have South African baggage. In my book, Cultivate Cultured Brands, I speak a lot around what makes your culture stick, what makes your leadership permanent. I think he succeeded because he owned the vision. He was matured enough not to allow himself or other people to deter the vision. He only focused on what needed to be achieved. He understood the principles of governance with regards to being firm and being fair. And lastly, his personal attribute of being an authentic leader played a big role, because people like predictable leadership. Yes, every company has politics. Some liked the new way, some did not like it. Some were attached still to the fact that he's a white man, so he was judged from being a white man versus being judged for the transformation he has brought. You can never change those stances. But the story of those who worked during this leadership in this company are far different from those who worked before the leadership. Their experience are completely chalk and cheese. Few things that changed in this organization. Number one, the recruitment processes evolved. We lived employment equity. We didn't count it in numbers. We lived it. Talk of promotions, talk of development opportunities, talk of growth, talk of project exposure. There was just no limit, and not all of this was attached to money, because mostly some companies always attach development with money. Talk of recognitions, appreciations, celebrations of individuals, teams, family days. There was nothing to lack or to seek for. You felt like when you're going to the workplace, your whole person is going to the workplace. Talk of equity, unity, cross-functional relations, respect for all, visibility amongst all departments. There was no department that was like, we don't feel part of. You know, there's 2 departments that have personalities. If you've worked, I haven't worked in the banking space, but I've worked mainly in the manufacturing space. So 2 areas you can talk about, 2 departments that have a personality. Hey, talk of finance and talk of engineers. If you manage to get these people on your events and they participate in full, you must know your organization has done well. We worked responsibly. We also played responsible. I remember safety was such a priority in our business that even during events, it was controlled. It was not how deep your pocket can be. You know, you have an open bar and you can get yourself drunk to no limit. No, it was not about how much appetite you have for alcohol. No, the vicarious responsibility of you representing the company brand, the responsibility of being a responsible citizen was weighed on us in this organization. This is what I call organizational heritage, because everything I've walked and lived in that organization, I am still able to apply it in my personal life. I mean, the value of safety is embedded in me. This is something that builds a person beyond the pecs, the salaries, the levels, that magnetism that is shared by everyone touched by it. So why do I say heritage or celebrating heritage in organizations is a missed opportunity? I feel that this opportunity is hijacked by individualism and a lack of why. What is the purpose? What is the intent that we are doing this? If that purpose and intent is there, maybe it is not well refined, maybe it is not well thought for the business, or is done superficially just to please people of what they want. You know, nagging children, you give them what they want, even if your heart is not there, or is disconnected completely to the organization. Heritage is not about being activists or settling scores. Heritage is about the wisdom of gray hair. It is not about disruption, it is about settling down. It is not about throwing our toys in the air. It is an effort to put toys in their respective boxes. When I hear heritage, I hear inheritance, I hear legacy, I hear customs and traditions, I hear history, I hear background, I hear culture. Now, as organizations, don't we have these things? Is this not what we should be celebrating as organizations? Not ethnical individuality, nor different cultures in the organizations, because these actually show more separation, show more obvious reasons we shouldn't be together than bringing unity. Whereas organizational culture is the reason we are here. It's what brings us together. So why are we not focusing on that on this day? Is this not the opportunity to share the love for our organization, appreciation for one another as this one team, and a sense of unity and community under this one banner? So if you agree with what I have said so far, but why then do we see individual cultures? Nothing wrong with wearing the outfit on that day, right? Because it represents your individuality, your uniqueness, your importance, your piece of the puzzle in the organization. So our individual cultures should not be the puzzle. We should take the being, the piece, different colorful pieces of the puzzle, but we should not be missing the actual puzzle. So what I'm saying is these individual cultures that we bring in, how or where is our organizational culture reflected in them? Why is it more biased towards certain groups? What about the groups that do not really believe in traditional heritage? What are we saying they must do in this day? What about the groups that do not feel they cannot wear their own traditional gears because they will offend others, or they represent the past that we don't want to bring in today, so therefore they are not allowed? Why there is always historical tones that are not related to our specific cultures but are related to the past in our heritage? This is why I say organizational heritage is hijacked. We are being bogged down to a level of confusion and discord. When we are supposed to celebrate, we bring in DEI in a way that does not really mean DEI in terms of the organization. We invite speakers, we spend so much, we pay a lot of money for these, we give away production time. For what value add in the business is this? I am sure some speakers do not even know what your cultural values are. They don't even know what your culture stands for. You pay so much money, you give away so much time, you trap your employees in these talks and time to listen to someone who's not even going to enhance your organization values, culture, heritage, nothing. But how would this have been if it took the organizational approach? It would be a day full of free spirit. I imagine in my mind, every child is walking barefoot. Barefoot may mean, different things for different people, but to me, it means a day of play. Whether it is children running around in a soft green grass, or is it children stamping their feet in the ditch of water from the rain, it does not matter. It's the children are barefoot enjoying being children. It's a day where parents have their head down, open to receive, curious to observe, and to play along. A day to embrace, to celebrate, to remember, to learn, to build up. A day where most people, if not everyone, feels that this is my existence in this company. This is why I want to be in this company. This is why I am working for this company. A day where people feel for once, I don't have to complete a formal, limited, calculated questionnaire about my company culture, but today I actually get to live it honestly because it considers what's in it for me. So how do we awaken our organizational heritage? I'm going to share my view. I'm a village girl, so my reflections carry so much mud. When going around the villages, you will notice there are mud houses that are abandoned or houses within the yard that have been destroyed but are not rebuilt. They show that there was once life there, but not anymore. If you listen to older people, they will tell you why the place was vacated or why that house cannot be rebuilt. And believe me, these are not good stories. So today, we are faced with the same. We've got sinkholes, that are developing. People build houses not knowing what's underneath or what's going to happen over the years. But now we have sinkholes that are coming up, swallowing people's houses. So it will not be wise for anyone to go there and invest, build a house in a place with sinkholes, or in a place where this place was abandoned for certain reasons that are not good, no matter how cheap they sell them in the market. As organizations, while we compete in the same market, it is our uniqueness, our boldness that will set us apart from competition. So why do we keep investing, focusing, spending resources on sinkholes, on abandoned houses, while we already know that the outcome is not going to be great? Why do we not abandon what does not work for us and look for a place where we can start a new foundation that will work for our organizations? Does rehashing the same things over and over help our system? Let's remember Albert Einstein when he says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. As I have said before, heritage, just like culture, is not an HR activity. It is a leadership responsibility. This is where leaders become alive outside the law, outside the procedures, and outside the regulations, influencing outside the departments, the structures, their roles, and outside their silos. Leadership, stand up, show up, be seen, don't hide behind HR. In my language, we say, Bapati, Pakamani, Velan, Sinibon. If your company is looking for a day like that, how to build such processes and embrace organizational culture and heritage, you can contact us to pick up more ideas and ways to do it. Remember this, where no learning flows, where no feedback is actioned, it's like a standing still river with no streams coming in, no fresh air flowing into it. That river is no longer a source of life. Those that live or drink from it will become sick. Same with such a nation or organization. People become stagnant, heritage loses its value, and legacy is destroyed. Nothing of value will be left for generations to come. If you think your company is living this kind of heritage and is living it right, show off so we can learn. Vela nawe sikubone, sifunde kuwe. From Iliga Group we say, happy heritage in all its forms, shapes, and sizes. Reap a legacy. Thank you.